The brilliant dawn painted the vast Serendia savanna, in East Africa, golden, where the air vibrated with the melodious chirping of countless birds. On a lush green expanse of grass, a playful lion cub, only a few weeks old, struggled to pounce on its mother's fluffy tail. Its large amber eyes, full of innocence, sparkled with joy as it explored its tiny world, completely unaware of the lurking dangers in the shadows. For days the mother and cub had chosen this spot as their resting place, occasionally nuzzling each other affectionately, seemingly forgetting the harshness of the wild. That morning, the cub's boundless curiosity led it towards a giant baobab tree, its trunk gnarled like an ancient fortress. The thick bark with its strange cracks seemed to beckon, promising an exciting conquest. Ignoring its mother's soft cautionary rumble, the cub secretly thought this would be an ideal vantage point to observe the world. The mother lion, a seasoned hunter named Zola, was still calmly watching her cub from a distance, her sharp golden eyes constantly scanning the dense bushes, but she had not yet realized the potential danger her little one was heading towards. With all the youthful determination, the cub began to climb the baobab tree, its tiny claws digging deep into the rough bark. It wobbled clumsily, trying to find balance on its still weak and shaky legs. Satisfied with its initial success, the cub, now a little higher off the ground, continued to climb, clinging to the tree with its needle-sharp claws, as active as a child exploring a daring game. A strong gust of wind suddenly blew through the leaves, creating fierce rustling sounds, momentarily startling the cub and disorienting it, but it stubbornly continued its ascent, determined to reach the highest point. Suddenly, a dry, rotten branch, hidden deep within the dense foliage, abruptly snapped under the small animal's weight. The cub, startled by the terrifying cracking sound, lost its footing, slipped off the branch, and fell freely onto the dry ground below, the heavy thud echoing in the quiet of the savanna. The lioness's heart-breaking roar tore through the air, a primal cry of intense pain and extreme fear. Rushing like an arrow to her cub's side, Zola frantically tried to assess how severely injured her beloved offspring was. The cub, whimpering miserably, tried to push itself up with its front paws, its tiny body trembling violently, but immediately collapsed, a painful groan caught in its small throat. The hard, dry ground was not enough to absorb the full force of the impact, and the fall had severely injured its spine, the pain shooting through its bones. The lioness lowered her head close to her cub, her sandy fur enveloping the small body like a desperate shield. Her rough yet loving tongue gently licked the injured areas, her bright golden eyes reflecting despair and a silent plea. Realizing that her cub, now named Kofi, couldn't move on its own, the lioness let out a soft, guttural growl of helplessness, knowing time was running out and she needed a miracle. In this vast and perilous Serendia savanna, the lioness knew that only humans, with their strange tools and knowledge, could offer a glimmer of hope for her precious cub. Without hesitation, the lioness gently took her cub into her mouth, carefully but skillfully lifting it, trying her best to avoid putting any further pressure on the injured back. Walking slowly and with great difficulty, she was determined to bring her cub closer to where the conservation staff of the Serendia region regularly patrolled, a place she had observed from a distance, recognizing their green jeeps as a symbol of safety and aid, the unusual sounds of their engines amidst nature's symphony. With each step the lioness seemed to tense up, her powerful muscles straining to maintain balance on the uneven ground, because even a little carelessness could worsen the cub's condition. A weak whimper escaped Kofi, a sound that seemed to tear through the lioness's heart, as if the pain was directly flowing through her own body. Meanwhile, on the dusty road leading to the conservation center, a patrol team was moving in their familiar jeep, diligently checking for strange tracks and monitoring the unusual movements of wild animal herds. A young conservationist named Alara, a child of this land, with a deep love and understanding of the natural world, sat in the passenger seat, her sharp green eyes constantly observing the slightest signs of life. As the jeep rattled along the rocky dirt road, they suddenly spotted a lioness in the distance, seemingly approaching them urgently and unusually. Everyone in the vehicle immediately became highly alert, their hands instinctively reaching for their communication and defense equipment, because a lion actively approaching a human vehicle was usually a sign of danger or desperation. Alara signaled her teammates to be ready for any worst-case scenario, but a strange intuition told her that something was different. A profound distress evident in the animal's hurried movements. As the vehicle slowed down, approaching cautiously, they saw more clearly the lioness was gently carrying her cub in her strong jaws, and the cub appeared motionless, its small body limp, looking incredibly painful. The breath of the entire team seemed to catch in their throats, a shared sense of awe and sorrow filling their small vehicle at this rare sight, witnessing a wild animal seeking help from humans. The lioness steadfastly approached, her gaze fixed on the vehicle, gently placing her cub down directly in front of the Jeep's hood, her bright golden eyes seeming to plead for salvation, a silent request that transcended all language barriers. Seemingly understanding the urgency of the situation, Alara quickly opened the door and stepped out of the vehicle, her hands raised high to show that she had no intention of harming this majestic creature. Her teammates also cautiously disembarked, spreading out around, maintaining a safe distance from the lioness and always ready to intervene if the situation became dangerous. Surprisingly, the lioness didn't bare her fangs or growl threateningly, just stood protectively beside her motionless cub, occasionally lowering her head to gently lick its soft fur, as if to give it some warmth and hope. Alara took a deep breath, trying to keep her voice calm and gentle, and slowly walked towards the cub to examine its injuries, her sharp green eyes still watching the lioness's reaction, carefully assessing her mood. A few beads of cold sweat dotted her forehead, a sign of the intense tension of the moment, but she remained calm and focused, knowing that any hasty or wrong move could lead to unpredictable consequences. The lioness growled softly, a low, rumbling sound of anxiety, but made no aggressive movements. Standing as still as a statue, it seemed she trusted, on some primal level, that this human was trying to help her child, that she was not a threat, but a potential savior in the darkness. With careful and gentle hands, Alara slowly stroked Kofi's small body, feeling the unevenness of its spine beneath the soft fur, and then gently examined its hind legs and abdomen, searching for the source of the intense pain. The cub whimpered softly, a weak and painful sound that tightened the hearts of everyone present with sympathy. After a few minutes of meticulous examination, her skilled hands expertly assessing the damage, Alara realized that the cub's spine had been severely injured from the impact, possibly with internal damage that wasn't immediately visible. She worriedly informed her teammates that the situation seemed more serious than they initially thought, a tense atmosphere enveloping the small team. Alara's teammates silently nodded, exchanging worried and determined glances. The lioness, seemingly sensing the gravity of the situation through Alara's tone and expression, her bright golden eyes reflected deep unease, her powerful tail twitching slightly with anxiety. Seizing the fragile moment of calm, Alara signaled to a colleague experienced in wildlife first aid named Ben, carrying a specialized medical kit, to approach and assist. They carefully positioned Kofi on its side, avoiding any further pressure on its injured spine, and began checking vital signs. The cub's breathing was very shallow, its heartbeat erratic, a worrying sign. After a quick assessment, Ben gently administered a strong painkiller and a special anti-inflammatory medication to Kofi, hoping to alleviate the intense pain and prevent any dangerous complications from inflammation. The cub shivered slightly as the needle touched its skin, a natural reaction of its injured body, then gradually calmed down, perhaps feeling the soothing effects of the medicine. Alara and Ben worked in sync, carefully splinting Kofi's injured back with soft but firm materials, preventing it from moving too much and causing further damage to its spine. The lioness stood silently observing every action, her gaze fixed on her small cub, a mixture of profound worry and a fragile glimmer of hope in her eyes. In the distance, a group of tourists on an open-top safari vehicle, drawn by the unusual commotion, had quietly stopped, not daring to do anything that might disturb this miraculous moment. They watched in awe as humans and a wild lion, creatures belonging to two different worlds, were united in a silent battle for the life of a small creature. Their cameras softly clicked, capturing a poignant story of compassion and trust that transcended all boundaries. Alara checked Kofi's breathing and heartbeat one last time, trying to feel for any positive signs. Its heartbeat was still very weak, but seemed a little more stable. She sighed softly, knowing that the journey ahead was long and fraught with uncertainty. She offered a gentle smile to Zola, a smile filled with empathy and hope, trying to convey a sliver of reassurance. In the tense minutes that followed, the conservation team carefully monitored Kofi's reactions, watching for any unexpected complications. Then they made the difficult decision to carefully lift Kofi onto the jeep, preparing for a risky journey to the nearest wildlife rescue center. Kofi, still very weak, lay still on the makeshift stretcher, its breath as fragile as a flickering flame. Zola followed the jeep with unwavering, anxious eyes, running alongside the vehicle on the bumpy dirt road, occasionally letting out soft, worried growls. Alara and Ben took turns monitoring Kofi's condition, constantly checking vital signs and trying to keep it as comfortable as possible during the bumpy ride. They knew that every second counted, and any delay could cost the small cub its life. Finally, after a long and stressful journey, the jeep reached the Wildlife Rescue Center nestled deep within the Serendia region. A team of experienced veterinarians was already waiting, quickly taking Kofi in and conducting thorough examinations. The results showed that the damage to its spine was even more severe than they had initially feared, and the chances of a full recovery were very slim. A heavy atmosphere settled over the rescue center, but no one gave up hope. They were determined to do everything they could to give Kofi even the slightest chance of survival. In the days that followed, Kofi received specialized care with the dedication and love of the entire team of doctors and rescue workers. Alara often visited him, gently stroking his soft fur and whispering words of encouragement. Zola remained patiently waiting outside the enclosure, her eyes never leaving the place where her cub was fighting against death. In the end, after many long and arduous days and nights of courageous struggle, the miracle did not happen. Kofi took its last breath in the arms of those who had tried their best to save him. A deep sadness enveloped the rescue center, but in everyone's heart lingered a profound admiration for the sacred bond of motherhood, and the extraordinary trust that Zola had placed in humans. Alara quietly conveyed the heartbreaking news to Zola. Instead of roaring in anger or becoming aggressive, the lioness simply rubbed her head against the fence, a soft, choked growl escaping her throat, a sorrowful farewell. Alara and her colleagues buried Kofi beneath an ancient baobab tree, the place where it had experienced its last moments of innocent joy. That day, throughout the mythical land of Serendia, the story of the mother lion Zola and her cub Kofi spread like a legend, a moving testament to the sacred bond of motherhood, the compassion that transcends all boundaries, and the extraordinary connection between humans and the wild. Though the ending was filled with sorrow, the story remained etched in the hearts of those who had witnessed it, a poignant reminder of the fragility of life, and the extraordinary power of love.
Thanks for watching until the end of the video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my next videos. See you in the next ones.